Oh, fuck me. Oh, goodness. Oh my fucking days, bruv. Oh, kung fu. Oh shit. You what? Hey? Oh, what the fuck you doing, guys? Fucking hell. I'm not even awake yet. Bruv. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to another video with Wushurichard. I've just fucking woke up, mate. Oh, fucking hell. I mean, you could have knocked, but... oh shit, where's my wife? She's not disintegrated into the mattress, has she? From my power, love. No, she's gonna work. That's all right. Just remember. Man, what the fuck are you guys doing here? What do you expect me to do? Backflips and jumping split kicks? What do you expect me to do? Roll over the table like Jackie Chan? I've just woken up in the morning, mate. Here we are, South Tropical China, and it's another day, and I need my cup of tea. That's the first thing I need, my cup of tea. But look, you guys have come to join me, have you? And for a morning chit chat. Well, okay then. Listen, the main important thing is I'm not sitting here butt naked, by the way. Okay, I've got a pair of shorts on, so you're not going to wake up to a complete streaker. Oh, fucking hell, man. Do you ever wake up and feel totally fucked? Shit, mate. The first thing I need is a workout, a stretch when I wake up in the morning. I stand there, stand anywhere I can fucking stand on the planet and stretch my skeleton bones, fucking the flesh over it. I stretch the flesh, actually. Oh, man. I just feel so fucked when I wake up. Fuck me. Anyway, I want to say this, right? I wake up, right, and there's all this shit going on in the world. And it's every day and every night, 24 hours, planet Earth is turning around. And the amount of shit going on in the world could have your head in a spin. Anyway, I guess I better go and get myself a cup of tea now. Yeah, let's do this. Oh yeah, let's get those slippers on, King Kong. Oh, that's comfy, bastard. Yeah, it's definitely another morning. Oh yeah. That's a real good cuppa. Real nice tea. Anyway, so thanks for joining me, guys. It's really a pleasure. And when I wake up in the morning, most times I feel like a zombie. I don't know about you. I don't know what the fuck to say, what the fuck to do. Oh, but it's good when you've got a day off. A day off work, I mean. Because if you're going to go to work to earn money to survive, yeah, you're going to do it, but the fact is you're going out to be a robotic slave for the society, and that's no good, right? If you're doing a job that you love, fair enough. You're living the life that you were born to live. You know, if you have enjoyment in what you do, you know, and then you're able to survive too. You earn money. That's important. But yeah, you know, when I think about the places I've moved, you know, in my life, you know, moving house. We moved house again. It's crazy. Now, I don't know how many places you've lived or stayed in yourself personally, but in my life, back from when I was a kid and growing up in the UK in London, moving around different places, and then coming to China and moving and living in different places in China. It's just, it blows my mind to think the places that I've stayed, you know. And then, you know, it's the same thing, you know, the people that come and go, and the job changes that we have, and all of the ups and downs, and the worries that we had about past events that were hard at the time, but then they just passed, you know, and here we are, and it's a new day every day. Whenever you check the news on the internet these days, all you see is all this craziness in the world and violence going on. Fighting and wars and people protesting or parading or protesting or marching about something, you know, and people are at each other's throats, and then you've got other people in the world that are addicted to whatever, drugs or whatever, smoking, drinking, weed, drugs of any kind, meth or whatever people are on in the world. For me, I just wake up and have a cup of tea. It's simple, you know. And there's people in the world right now going through abuse too. There's people in the world who are going through abuse. There's people literally going through shit and hell. And that is not needed, is it? It's just unnecessary. But do you know, right, I've always lived a positive lifestyle. No, I've always lived this positive lifestyle. I wake up, have a cup of tea. I usually do some stretching. A morning stretch. I'll stretch my legs, stretch my whole body, loosen up, which I will be doing later on off camera. But you know, I usually do a stretch routine. You don't really need a massive lot of space to do stretching, believe it or not, if you know how to work it. But it's good, obviously, if you've got good space. The thing is, it's strange, right? It's funny because, like, now, here, as I say, in the far south China, tropics, here we are, as far as you can go. In this part of China, it's different. You know, like when I used to, back, like, well, we're going 5 or 6 years back, almost, you know, just over 5 years ago, I was living in the northeast of China, and I stayed there for around 7 or 8 years. I was living in the northeast of China, and back then, my training, you know, I used to train. I used to wake up in the morning, every morning. I used to wake up very early, and I used to go outside. I'm talking 3:10 or 3:20 in the morning. I would wake up, and in the northeast of China, in Heilongjiang province, it's freezing cold. It's known for that. The same way as this place, okay, Hainan, this place, far south China, this is known to be tropical. I mean, it is. It's just, you see in my clips. I'm looking at the window now and I can see palm trees outside there. The sun burning down. The time has just gone 7:30 in the morning, nearly 7:45 in the morning, and everybody's gone out, you know. My wife's gone out to work, you know, and there's people going by, people going to work and stuff. I can see out the window. But you know, as I say, it's tropical heat here, But over there in the northeast of China, it's freezing cold in the winter time especially. I mean, this is summer now, but in the northeast, as I'm saying, for most of the year it's just pretty cold. And in the winter time, thick snow. And going back years, it would actually be more thicker snow apparently. But the snow freezes into ice, and even the lakes freeze over, and people walk over the lakes and stuff. It's crazy. So thick ice, you know, and they cut big blocks of the ice out, and it's well known over there, famous for it. People cut the blocks of ice out, and they build these massive big sculptures and like castles and everything as such, like buildings and out of ice, and they put lights inside the ice, like coloured lights. It's really beautiful, and people carve things out of the ice, you know, and people pay for these attractions to go to see the thing, you know. They open a gate up, and people queue up and go in and see it all, you know, and they do this every year. But yeah, I used to wake up though, I used to wake up in a block of ice. I only do that almost. I used to wake up at 3:10 or 3:20 every morning, sometimes 4, but it would be like before everybody else would wake up. Now in China, as I've said before in much earlier videos I've made, in China you have a habit where, you see a habit amongst mostly older people, but people wake up and they do some morning exercise. The older people, they will try to get some exercise in, you know. They'll wake up in the morning and do some exercise. It's not everybody that, you know, it's not to say that everybody's doing Tai Chi and stuff, Tai Chi, right? But they just do exercise in general, okay? And, you know, yeah, even that sadly seems to be dying out, even amongst the older people now in China. We've talked about that martial arts interest dying out amongst the younger generations, and you still have some older people practicing some Tai Chi to whatever levels. But even that's dying out. A lot of the older people now are like doing like this dancing and different stuff in the squares and stuff. But it's just sad to see. But anyway, though, we'll get onto that in another video. But I want to just say, you know, that, that's what it is. You know, you get people waking up, and sometimes in the evenings too, going out for walks or whatever it is, or doing some exercise, and they have big open squares or any open places, you know, where you'll see people doing exercise. But with me, I used to wake up early before those guys, because I'm a foreigner, you know. I didn't want to like wake up and go outside and be practicing my kung fu and my martial arts, and then, you know, the next thing you know, you get a group of Chinese people coming over, or older people. They may be friendly, they may be just curious, but, you know, I'm focusing on my training. That was my attitude back then, you know, years ago. And rightly so. I think I wanted to focus on my training, because no matter where you are in the world, you're focusing on working out for you. It's the same with me. Like, do I believe in working out together with people and, like, you know, in groups? Yeah, I think it's great, you know, socializing as such. And you can work out and you can inspire each other. Yes, you can work out together depending on who it's with. Yes, you can work out in gyms and dojos and martial arts schools, do sports, of course, if it involves more than one person. But the most important thing, working out, okay, to me the most important thing is working out, and exercise is actually your own thing. You're working out for yourself, you're doing it for you, right? Yeah, so basically, you know, martial arts too, and it just so happens that I'm a Westerner, you know, and so a lot of people here in China, they would imagine, you know, okay, he's a Western guy, so he's just in the fantasy here about kung fu and everything, you know. Whereas they didn't really know me anyway. Like, my whole life's been about traditional martial arts and training. I've loved it before I come to China. Before I came to China. So, you know, I didn't fancy people coming over. I didn't want people coming over talking to me, you know, and wondering what I'm doing and saying, oh, let me show you. You get some guys who want to just regardless of if they knew anything or not. But you get people saying, "Oh, let me show you. Oh, I'll tell you about this." And you know, my great grandfather trained with Bruce Lee and all this. They'll come up with all this different jargon, you know, just to try to sell themselves to you. And I'm like a complete stranger, you know. So what I didn't want that. I wanted to be on my own doing my training. So I would wake up each morning. This is like at first I was like when I came to China to continue my martial arts learning journey, which because I had already been studying martial arts under multiple schools and different teachers of different styles for many years back in the UK, in London. But when I come to China, obviously I was really wanting to learn more martial arts, right? So I found a couple of teachers, one for some like long fist wushu, which I studied for a certain amount of time. Later on I did a little bit of bagua also, but I'm not going to talk about that now. What I'm saying is though, I was learning for a period of time martial arts under teachers in China, but I just got so busy with work and I had to travel and stuff anyway that it would take me quite a while to walk from home to go to study with the teachers, you know, and so things got awkward basically. So I just rather than run all the way there, which I was previously doing, rather than do that, I actually just, you know, I just basically just stayed, you know, at home, and I just trained at home. And in the winter time, it was really, really cold. I'm just saying, I would train and work out around my home, like where I lived, on the block, basically, you know, in this housing area. That's what I did basically. So what I would do is I would just wake up very early and I would go and train around the area. So basically I would wake up at that time, okay, around 3:10 or 3:20, sometimes 4, depending on the time, and it would be black, dark, you know, before the sun rose in the morning. And I would wake up and I would go outside with a pair of gloves on, sometimes with holes in, with a pair of gloves on, wrapped up, you know, I'd have a jacket on top of my tracksuit, okay? I'd wear a tracksuit and trainers, sometimes 1 or 2 pairs of socks, or 1 or 2 pairs of gloves also. You know, it was freezing cold, absolutely freezing cold in the northeast because of the snow and the ice, and frost. And it was, I mean, when you breathed the air, you could see the air. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't turn into a block of ice in front of me and just drop to the floor, because it was just so frozen cold, you know. If you stood still, you would get so cold. Your ears would begin to freeze. And the thing is, like, I remember I used to have to wear ear muffs also, literally, because it was that cold. Your ears would freeze and snap off. My face was red, you know. I didn't used to wear a scarf, but I did often used to have a hood up and a hoodie. And wearing all of those thick layers, that jacket, like, not even a winter jacket, because I had to get some movement. I was doing traditional martial arts and kung fu, like wushu. So, but I had to have enough movement, but enough flexibility, but I had to wear all this stuff, and I had like 1 or 2 t-shirts underneath, plus a tracksuit, plus that, and I was still freezing cold. My sweat would freeze. I mean, I was sweating underneath it, obviously, but I didn't feel the sweat. That's the funny thing about training in the northeast, at that time in the morning too, in the winter, because whether you be training on ice or in deep snow or whatever, or in the frozen air of the darkness, and you've got those frozen orange lights coming from the street lights, and everybody else was still sleeping, no lights on in the buildings. I was literally standing there. You could just, it was just a freezing early morning. It was like cold death, it was basically like. But I was out there to train and challenge, force myself and push myself to be a kung fu warrior for myself, right? It wasn't about going into fights and stuff with anybody. It was about challenging myself and always further developing myself, you know. And the air, I mean, you could see thick air almost. It was like not fog. This was not
fog. This was like, just, you could see the frosty air. It was just like so cold. And I'm surprised my eyeballs didn't freeze. But my heart didn't freeze. And it was great, but I was just focused, and I've always been so focused on my working out and training, you know. And basically, that's what it was. So I just woke up, did my working out. I did my workout before the people came out, before they woke up. So before everybody woke up, like the people that lived around the area, to do their morning exercise, these old people, which is very early, you know. I woke up before that. They might wake up around 5, 6 or whatever and start doing some stuff, which is good, right? Bit crazy for most people to wake up that early, but I forced myself to wake up at 4 or sometimes 3:20ish, around that. I say 3:10 or 3:20, before 4 o'clock if I could. I'd go out and I would get, you know, that hour and a half at least training in. And sometimes I'd just be finishing off, you know, and then you'd have 1 or 2 people coming out, starting their working out, and they'd be noticing, oh, there's a foreign guy there. But I would just like practice my kung fu form or whatever, not showing off, but you know, I'd be like, they'd see, okay, he's practicing something there, and I'd just do that once or twice and then go, you know. But most of my main workout though, my stretching, my grueling stuff, and you know, basic stuff, I'll be practicing my stances and that horse riding stance and whatever, you know, all that stuff out of Marbu and that, you know, they've been done already. I'd wake up early in the morning and there was different things I'd do. Like most times, it got to the point where most times I'll be going over to the back area. There was like a further area in the back where, like a square, okay, between a couple of other buildings. But sometimes I would just train. Sometimes I would train. Not always, but sometimes I would train outside my block, downstairs, but not right down the bottom of this. You'd go down the steps. We lived on the 4th floor. There was like a housing area. There was like buildings around it, and I would go down the stairs. And outside there was like a landing area outside, and it would be frosty, covered with ice, you know, frost or whatever, frost. And there'd be frost on this metal bar. And that was a good place to stretch my legs, so that was the way I was mainly stretching my legs back then, you know. And it was a good thing, you know. I put my leg on the bar and stretched my legs on the bar, front and then sideways and that. And then that got me a bit ready, and I'd kind of like do a few things, and then I'd make my way down some further steps, which would lead properly to the ground level, and I would go out, you know, outside still, but I would go across and train my martial arts in the square. But the thing is, it's like this. I don't know what to say. It's like working out as a martial artist. You just can't escape it. I was never one like back in the past. I was never a sporty person. Well, I was never a person to be like in gyms and stuff. I was never a person to be focusing, you know, on exercise so much like that. Yeah. Going running or anything like that. I've done a bit here and there. I've done a bit of running, but you know, I've never been one for that. I can't swim either, you know. But martial arts, you can't escape it. If you're doing martial arts, you have to work out. And the more through the different schools I went to, back from in the UK and in China also, in terms of all of the martial art training I've done under different teachers and stuff, plus studying by myself too, but in all of the actual formal training I've done though, in schools or with teachers, there's been different working out you've had to do with a different thing. Like my first martial art when I started out when I was 12 years old, okay? I'm now 36 almost. I'm 35 years old in this video, nearly 36. But when I was 12, back in London, I started martial arts and I did karate for around like 3 years. And when I did that, you know, I've got memories and stuff of it, but it was like mostly like the movements, you know, and the cutters. It weren't so strenuous on the working out. But we did do stretching. We did stretching and we did warming up. But then later on, when I was like, I don't know, 17, 18, whatever, you know, when I was like 17 or 18 years old, I did another 3 years of kickboxing. Heavy duty, good training, kickboxing. And in that school, the workouts, even just the workouts before we even got training, all the fighting drills and the combos and pad work and sparring and defense, before we did any of that, just the workout alone, that 20-minute, half an hour or whatever workout at the beginning of each session was grueling. It's what some of the most grueling stuff I've ever done. Stretching, you know, all of it, endurance, all that, running around, push-ups, sit-ups, jumping, so many different kinds of jumping, skipping, rolling, kicking, bags, punching stuff, running around. It was just everything you can imagine. It was like military. Well, for me, for someone in my frame too, I'm not even the strongest of that, but it pushed me to my limits. But to my limits at the time, it was my limits to have passing out, like nearly throwing up. Mind you, I was working later on too, and I had other stuff going on, but it was a lot though. And you should not eat before you do a workout like that, I tell you, because you'll sick it up. Yeah. So I used to always, try to keep that in mind, but you know, I used to do that, okay, and you know, that's what I did. So kickboxing. Now, it was very flexible stuff, very full-on exercise, right? Then later on, I also did another 3 years, almost 3 years of 5 animal style kung fu. But in that school, we did some stretching and a bit of loosening up. But most of it was like people would just come in and work out anyway before the class started. Like we'd do a bit of stretching anyway and things like that and loosen up. But it was a southern style of kung fu. It wasn't a wushu. It wasn't a wushu kind of style. It wasn't fluid, flexible jumping kicks and forms like that. There were forms, but it wasn't like that kind of flowing stuff, you know. So when I did this 5 animal kung fu, it was very different. We did conditioning drills and things like that, and stance work, and it was very, you might say rigid, but very focused on specific positions. I won't say like yoga, but kind of. And what happened is I'm talking about the actual working out for this thing, right? We also did some basic qigong exercises, just basic qigong exercises. I'm not talking about breaking stuff over your head or moving stuff without touching it. I'm talking about just breathing exercises, but in holding certain positions, like low mabu kind of stances or various stances, even small sort of stances and things. And believe me, it would burn the shit out of you. I'm not going to go into detail, but it was real hard. It was some of the hardest training I've ever done. That particular school, that training I did, that 5 animal kung fu, not only did I learn a lot of philosophy and principle about the kung fu actual application with the techniques and the philosophy in that, but 2 things I got was the 2 areas of foundation for traditional martial arts. One was the conditioning, how to really block and how to train your arms to actually really take punishment and basically deliver, like with blocking, to make your arms be combative, defensive, real shields for your body. Second, you know, the other thing, of course, was the stance work, the actual, the mind, the focus, and how to become strong and rooted in a stance. That was definitely the foundation of the concentration and as well in the mind through the pain. Such fucking boredom, excuse my language, such boring. It was just hell. It was not like fluid, showy movements like I wanted to learn, because I was watching Jet Li movies and epic stuff, and this was the closest thing I could get to like a kung fu, you know, learning kung fu from Chinese styles, you know. So I was grateful for it. It was like hard, but it was like, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was good, and there was something about it. And I'm so grateful to this day that I learned that from that, because that, if I never learned that 5 animal kung fu, and for me, I'm saying personally, everybody's different, but if I just learned the basic karate I did and then kickboxing, I would not have been myself, this Richard Clark here, Wushurichard, I would not have been able to, I don't think really at all, develop or grasp it and develop that kind of foundation for that kind of deep, that foundation of Kung Fu and traditional martial arts. I would not. Those two aspects especially, which takes concentration of the mind into the body, you know, for your arms and your legs, but it, I mean, it really is the whole body, you know, it's like the conditioning for the arms, and you know, and then the legs, like how to stand strong, which took me years. I mean, I didn't even get that in the training. That come later on, and pushing myself further. I took what I got from that later on when I come to China, and when I was in China doing other stuff like Wushu forms and all that stuff. You know, when I was doing the Wushu forms and things, it was teaching like long fist Wushu Chung Chuan. It was teaching me all about the flexibility, you know, flexibility. So again, more fluid flexibility, jumping and kicking and all kinds of stuff. It was different. It was different to the kickboxing I did previously. It was different to the karate that I previously did too. But it was like fluid movements, very acrobatic. Some people say showy. A lot of people say it's like Kung Fu dance. It's not dance at all, okay? I'm not going to go into that. I'll talk to you about that another time. Wushu's Wushu. I've got various viewpoints on it. But I'm just saying, okay, here. As I did that, I've looked into Tai Chi and things. I've looked into other arts, you know. I've been fascinated by other things. I've done a tiny bit of Taekwondo in the past. I'm just saying, you know, Tai Chi, Tai Chi, I've done a little bit of that. But it's weird because I like it a lot, but I've done some basic Bagua training with a teacher, also in China, and so I learned those. Bagua, very basic, just a few basics in Bagua, but that also you needed to be very rooted in that, because Bagua is the same as the Tai Chi. It's regarded as an internal art. So yeah, looking at what I've done, I mean, you got they say there's like three, you know, there's 3 internal arts. It's like the traditional Kung Fu. They usually say Bagua, okay, Tai Chi, okay, Bagua, okay, Bagua Zhang, Tai Chi Chuan, and Xing Yi Chuan. Okay. So, but they're basically internal arts, okay, but they're focusing more on the internal rather than the external. In the root. But the thing is, I find the whole thing fucking ridiculous, excuse my language. I think internal and external, you've got to have both in all kinds of Kung Fu, what you do. I don't care what kind of 7-star mantis or whatever it is, or Wing Chun or whatever. I think you've got to have the root, and you've got to have some amount of flexibility. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're a Taekwondo guy doing jumping, spinning kicks and stuff, or if you're someone who just does 5 ancestors, like small frame Kung Fu and like Qigong, you've still got to have some flexibility, right? It's like yoga, look at yoga for example. Yoga's a great, why do you think yoga's so great for your health? Yoga, I've never done yoga, I've trained it properly in that, but yoga, think about it. They're training the mind focus into the body, right? Definitely Gong Fu, you know, which is like the root and everything, holding those positions. It's like Qigong, right? You've got to breathe anyway. You've got to focus and relax, like a meditation, but into this hard work. So holding positions in yoga, right? But also what do you see in yoga? A lot of flexibility. So I'm not saying if it's a lot or whatever, or what kind of positions or what level of flexibility is involved in the martial arts, or how it's applied and what it's used for. But I'm saying you still need to have the internal and the external, I believe. But anyway, that's the basic thing though. They're like separated into internal and external, and you know, a lot of the southern arts, as well as I say, like they're focused on the internal a lot. You know, like this 5 animal Kung Fu I learned. But I've been training internal, I've trained external. I've been exposed to a lot of good martial art training. I've not trained with the best of the best or whatever, or famous schools of lineage or whatever you want to say. But I've learned what I've learned, and I've studied other things from other sources, you know. But that's what my habit has always been, though, to wake up early in the morning, not talk like this, like I'm doing on camera, but just get straight into it. And it just becomes something I have to do. Like, people wake up in the morning, and I've heard it said even, that people wake up in the morning and they just have a stretch, and you need it, don't you? Okay, I need it now. But like, I feel like I need to work out and loosen up my body and just do it. I've got to get it done. Now here it's burning hot heat in the tropics, this part of China, South China. And you know, if I was to go outside, like we've got a little backyard area out the back there, which is nice, we can train there. I could do exercise if I wanted to, but it's so hot. So I just want to train indoors with the air conditioning on. You've got to find space and do what you can, you know. Now, when it comes to conditioning your arms, I've talked about conditioning before, like training your arms, so like blocking and striking. You don't want to hurt yourself, but if you want to train by yourself, you can train on things like a tree. Okay, that's one of my favourite things I like to train on. You can train on other things, stone pillars, metal bars, whatever. You can train on good heavy solid, I would say, punch bag, like a sandbag, whatever you want. That would be good to really train on. But I'm saying, I like to train on trees. I don't believe in attacking nature and messing up trees. But if you've got a solid tree with no coconuts to fall down on your head, if it's safe, I don't know, it's a good stable ground, there is like kind of, it could be thick, it could be a thinner one, but I mean something strong and solid though. If there's no like thorns or anything sharp sticking off of it, you know, kind of smooth, you can train your blocking for your arms if you don't have someone to train with, you know. So I want to say that, you know, I do think that is something to keep in mind, but you just got to be careful, don't go too crazy and smash your arms and hands into it or any part of your body, because you might bust it. I've made videos in the past, I've got things coming up to show you some certain things, stuff that I filmed back last winter. I've got some good clips and stuff I want to show you of how you can utilise different things. If you've got an imagination, you can do a lot with, as far as martial arts training goes. But the thing is, you got to learn what actually works. I mean, you can see, you know, you don't want to do stupid things. You don't want to start. I would never advise getting like kitchen knives and spinning them in the house and doing crazy moves, because you could cut yourself, or you could slip over and stab yourself in the gut over a kitchen chair, and you may say, well, you know, it's a freak accident and goodbye to you, and you'll be on the news or not, you know. But I'm talking about real, you know, that, you know, as I say, real life though, training wise, you can be imaginative in how you train your body. You know what I mean? And like exercising and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I just find it sad that the traditional martial arts is dying out. But that's my habit. So I wake up each morning and I do some stretching at home. And I want to say thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to stop this video. It's been nice talking to you about it all. Okay, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, train hard and stay safe. I've finished my tea. I've fed my rabbit Chucky. And yeah, I'm going to go and do a bit of my stretching workout now. Okay, and I'm going to have a shower after that, and then this evening or this afternoon or evening, I'll be doing some dumbbells working out, hopefully, because I've had 2 days break from that. You know, but I hope you enjoy everything I'm doing, and it's very nice to talk to you. If you have any questions, if you do have any questions about my life here in China, or just life in China as I see it, I'm saying, or my experiences, you know, in the martial arts, you know, anything like that about traditional kung fu and the wushu. The way I'm not so expert like that. I'm not saying come to me, you know, ask me everything, but it's like you can ask me, because the way I see it is, not only was it pretty hard anyway in the past for people to find humble people who honestly just want to be just in their sharing of traditional kung fu, as well, you know, opposed to it just being a fighting physical show or whatever. But also, you know, the thing is, in this modern day and age, it's really dying out. So you've had in the ancient history, though, you had to go far back years and years ago. You had people from different parts of China. There was more, I don't know what to say, like more real, or the best kung fu was in certain areas. Well, then you had certain people in southern China and then in Hong Kong and stuff, and then it's spread out. You can look this up online, but it's spread out to other countries. These masters or experts spread across the world and started teaching abroad, and then it's kind of died out, and now in China there's less people practicing traditional martial arts. Now, I think it's really sad, because this is a dying art and dying knowledge. So who am I? I don't know so much, but I'm saying that I damn well know enough, and I respect it so much like that, and I've put my life into studying it. So if anybody wants to ask me anything about Kung Fu, or for any advice or any ideas about how to train, you're not going to find, hopefully, just me giving you a load of bullshit-o, and you're not going to, that's what they call it bullshit-o, like it's bullshit. A lot of people think that traditional martial arts is this complete joke, it's a dance and a show and a waste of time, and it's nothing compared to today's MMA and all of this. I'm not going to give you a load of bullshit, but what I'm also going to do is I'm not going to be putting it down like that and, you know, just criticising. If you want some down to earth, no ego, clean cut, just someone here who's studied traditional martial arts, who's done some teaching throughout the years. Well, I still teach privately and stuff too, from my heart, and and just look for what it is. I don't put myself out there to be a master or expert. I've never put myself out there to be that. I've never formally, even to this day, I've not earned a black belt like properly formally in a school. I'm not one who always gets in fights. I've been in a few fights. I have had to use martial arts to defend myself. Okay, a couple of times, but I'm not a tough guy. I'm not like so smart. I don't know everything, but I've put my whole life in so far, and traditional martial arts and preserving the knowledge is what it's all about. I don't claim to know everything about certain styles. I train Wing Chun, that's one of my main styles. I teach people, but it's like even the forms I've studied, but I've not learnt them all properly. I just know what I know about certain things, and I keep it all alive to the best. I train more hard than some people who just do it when they do, because I'm thinking about it all the time. Even when I'm doing other stuff, like martial arts is my foundation of what I'm based on, and it's always something that's so precious to me, because it's such a knowledge of self-preservation, and it's so fascinating too. So if anybody wants to ask me anything, you can, okay, about the state of martial arts in China, what it's really, or just not the state of martial arts. I'm sick of it like that. People are talking about the state of martial arts and Kung Fu in China and what it's becoming. Let's talk about what we can do about it. Let's just keep this knowledge alive. That's what we should do. Like I can only share what I know. Other people in the world are the same. People out there, I don't care if you're Chinese, if you can understand what I'm saying. I'm not speaking Chinese in this video, but I can speak Mandarin most. But I'm saying, I don't care if you're Chinese or if you're anyone, okay, from any nationality. If you love Kung Fu or traditional martial arts in general, right, keep it alive, be humble, don't worry about your level, don't worry about trying to prove yourself over what your lineage is, or what Dan you've got in karate, or what belts you are. Forget it, let's just keep this knowledge alive, because it's dying. Not fool yourself, always be true into working out, even if you're working out at home or whatever, but take what you've learned from that and share the beauty of it, and that's all. You learn more from your training anyway, so let's share the knowledge, communicate, not bicker and all of that, or try and promote yourself. It's not about that. It never was about that. It's all about self-preservation and respecting life. So keep that knowledge alive, take notes, records, always take note of what you've studied and your training methods and stuff, pass it on, share it to others, don't be selfish and ignorant, because we're all going to grow old one day, and sadly things do fade out, but I think we need to share the knowledge with each other. I've seen, everybody can be opinionated sometimes. I've seen a lot of people online who can be opinionated. There's people that will talk about their arts and they come across humble, but then sometimes they still want to put down other arts. And I'm the same. Sometimes I'll put down MMA because I just don't like it compared. That's just not how I feel about it. But we've got to not put down other stuff, but keep promoting what we believe in. Not to promote, but like to share the knowledge. What's it all about? You know, what's it done for you? What's the good in it? Show, you know. Don't worry about comments or thumbs up and all that, likes or views, or you know, likes and stuff on YouTube or Facebook. Just put the knowledge out there, or through any means you can, or face-to-face training with people. You know. Don't think about it as a show or an advertisement. Talk about just what you know, and don't be afraid if people put you down and or look at it and think, oh, that's ridiculous. Because I have the same thing. People look at me like, oh, he's weak, you know, he's a skinny guy, and what does he know, you know? They don't know. But the real training will be as real as it is to you as you really make it up, so not just what you believe it. You know, and you develop yourself and just share the knowledge of all those skills and really make a record. Write it down if you can. Store it, double back up, you know, save it if you're typing it, double save it in different places. And, record your training on video. Record so much so you've got backup. So we've got to preserve. We've got a lot of methods of preserving our stuff, you know, our knowledge in this day and age. So keep the knowledge alive, and keep sharing traditional martial arts with people for a better world, I would say. Okay? Thank you for watching. Train hard and stay safe. More videos to come from me. It's always the same thing. Kung Fu and entertainment.